Morning. Happy Friday, everybody. This is Mornings with Michael for informational and educational purposes only. Happy Friday to everyone. Hope everybody has had a successful week. Welcome to the weekend, and let's go take a look at the news. Costco, COST, June U.S. comparative sales, excluding gas, up 2% versus estimate at 2.3%. June total comparative sales down 1.4%, below estimate of 0.4%. Levi Strauss, LEVI, second quarter EPS 4 cents versus estimate of 3 cents, and revenues of 1.34 billion versus estimate of 1.34 billion. They guide full year revenues at 1.5% to 2.5%. Energy Industrials Materials for solar, FSLR, gets a $1 billion revolving credit line. Exelon EXC upgraded to buy from neutral at Guggenheim. Edison International EIX downgraded to neutral from buy at Guggenheim. Mercury Systems MRCY named interim president and chief executive officer Bill Ballhaus as chairman of the board as the latest executive move at the technology company. Financials, EverQuote, EVER announced plans to implement a structural reduction of over 15% in its non-marketing operating expenses, excluding non-cash items, said layoffs to result in charges of $2 million to $3 million in second quarter. Fed discount window, borrowing at $3.4 billion on July 5th versus $3.2 billion on July 28th. Fed other credit at $164.8 billion on July 5th versus $168.3 billion on July 28th. Healthcare, Biogen, BIIB, and Eisai, ESALY received full FDA approval for its Alzheimer's drug, Leqembi. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, said in January it would cover much of the cost of Leqembi for patients if it received full approval from the FDA. Mallinckrodt PLC MNK said it was PLC. MNK is a ticker symbol, said it was open to a proposed transactions as it keeps delaying payments under an opioid settlement. Stimulations Plus, SLP, third quarter adjusted EBITDA, 6.5 million versus estimate of 6.367 million, and revenues of 16.2 million versus estimate of 16.34. On to technology, media, and telecom. Alibaba, BABA, shares rose overnight after reports Chinese authorities are likely to announce a fine of at least 8 billion won, $1.1 billion, on Ant Group. Sources with direct knowledge of the matter said, bringing an end to the company's years-long regulatory overhaul. Samsung Electronics, SNNLF, said it expects a quarter two operating profit to fall 96% of the year, which would be its weakest performance in more than 14 years, said quarter two estimates operating profit at 600 billion won. Its quarter two estimates operating profit at 600 billion won. Global semiconductor chip sales fell 21.1% in May to 40.7 billion from April 2022's 51.7 billion. According to the trade group Semiconductor Industry Association late Thursday. Apple, AAPL, is planning a retail launch of its Vision Pro headset with appointments and in-store promotion in select U.S. markets early next year, underscoring the niche and complex nature of the mixed reality device. KLA Corp, KLAC, downgraded to sector weight from overweight at KeyBank as semiconductor capital equipment maker stock price exceeded the brokerage price target. Paramount, PARA, downgraded to underperform from peer perform and Wolf Research in the media sector, and Warner Brothers, WBD, downgraded to peer perform from outperform. And finally, Gorilla Technology Group, GRRR, shares jump pre-market have signs of a contract with government of Egypt to implement smart government security convergence solution in the country. Contract is worth more than $270 million. And that's our news for today. Let's go share our screen. See if we can find our map. It is not around, so let me rejigger some things. So Microsoft was up yesterday, it's down today. Apple is down slightly today. The screen looks a little better than yesterday, but we still have healthcare was up yesterday, it's down today. Consumer cyclical. Amazon is doing well. Some of the finance companies are doing well. So, and energy looks like it's up today. So that's how our S&P 500 map looks today. And as I start every day, I believe that majority of people should be in either an annuity or index universal life insurance policy for saving up money, because the money does not go down. Your assets are protected, whereas in the market reacts to the market. And as we see over here, the annuity average annual growth is 12.58% versus 7.57% versus the indices average annual growth. Once you step up, you do not step down, and you continue to step up with good earnings growth. So there we have that. Let's go to our screens. Looked at the ARK funds yesterday. The ARK funds continue down. Let's just refresh the screen to make sure we're looking at an accurate picture. And it is up today, bouncing above its 10 and 20-day moving average, up 2%. Look at the dollar. Dollar was bouncing up yesterday, and it is pulling back sharply today. It's just gap down. It's only down 0.67%, but looks a lot worse on the screen. Let's take a look at our yield. Yield is pulling back a little bit today, still above 4%, 4.02% on the 10-year. And it's moving up on the 20-year. Interesting. Our 1 to 3 year bond is popping up, so the yield is pulling back on the 1 to 3. Looks like we got a slight gap up here. Gold is bouncing today with the yields pulling back and the dollar pulling back. Gold is gapping up. Silver was up yesterday morning, pulled back, and it's up again today. It's got his head up against the 20-day moving average. Take a look at copper. Copper is bouncing Stronger Copper is doing the same. It's up 2% this morning. Take a look at our volatility index. It is retracing, and it looks like it's filling the gap. We got one more gap to fill down here. We'll see if it fills that. S&P 500 is moving up off of the 10-day. It did bounce off of the 10-day yesterday. Not much movement here. Take a look at the equal weighted. Looks a little better. Bouncing strongly off of the 10-day here. The NASDAQ is doing about the same. Take a look at the equal weight NASDAQ. Not much difference there. The Dow Jones is still down. And IWM, where we have all the bank stocks, is bouncing today. Well, that's positive. That's a pretty strong bounce. Let's take a look at our financials. Financials not doing too well there. Can't seem to get above the 200-day moving average. On our heat map, energy was popping and it is jumping up a little bit, but it is still down in this level. We need to definitely see some more movement. Energy, oil prices are bouncing today. Surprising that energy hasn't moved a little bit more. Communications, where Google, Facebook, pretty tight range here, which is positive. It stayed above the 10 and 20-day moving average. So this is a pretty strong sector still. Biotech, trying to bounce here. We'll see if it is setting a bottoming base in a couple of days. And our other biotech index keeps falling. Technology, staying in a pretty tight range. This is pretty positive considering what the market is, general market is doing yesterday. Sold off and then it bounced back above its 10-day moving average. Sell off. We had a little higher volume here, but considering it jumped up, a lot of this could have been buying. We had similar action on our software index. Now it's bouncing above its 10-day moving average today. And we had much lower volume on the sell-off than on the technology index. Look at our semiconductors. Pretty tight range here, which is pretty positive. And building materials is bouncing today. They had a strong sell-off in the morning yesterday, bounced back, and they're continuing that bounce back today. We had some pretty high volume here on the sell-off. We'll just see if we can get some volume on buying back. And look at metals. Yeah, they're bouncing back, got their head up against the 200-day moving average. See if we can get any volume there. And finally, housing index. That's positive. They bounced off of the 20-day moving average, and we'll just see if they can continue. The rates coming down today, I guess this is giving it a bounce. And looked at it. Riot last week sold off a little bit yesterday, and look at that. It's a pretty big gain and pretty strong volume so far today. Got same thing with Hut. We had a little bit of sell-off and continued movement here. Mara, seems like everybody is doing about the same. Clean Spark, it did not pull back much yesterday, and it is really jumping today. Look at this volume, this huge volume. MicroStrategy, which holds Bitcoin, is up. What Bitcoin is doing, not doing too much today. Neither is Ethereum. The miners are really moving. See if we can a couple of more Riot. So that's our look there, and let's take a look what is moving up today. This is our down volume. We'll take a look at first. Oh, is actually bouncing today. I'm not sure. We need to refresh this. Levi Strauss is gapping down today, down 6.6%. Novartis looks worse than the average. It's going down, but it's down 2.7% today. Earnings in 11 days. Got some pretty huge volume on that sell-off. Vista down 2.78%. Life Zone Metals down 21%. Blank Check company acquire or merge. Biogen was in the news, down 3.3% today. Has been trending down and is below its 200-day. As we said, not much good happens under the 200-day. BioXcel continues after this huge gap down another 7.5% today. Community Bank System, with interest rates continuing to go up, they're struggling, down 3.34%. National Fuel Gas, not doing too much today, but it continues its trend in the downward fashion. Black Hills Utility Services down 1.38%. Okay, let's take a look at what's moving up today. Castle Bioscience up 50% today. It had big sell-off, and now it has made a huge move, up 6.72%. Compass Pathways, ADR, developer of a therapy, psilocybin therapy, for the treatment of patients and treatment and resistance of depression. is up 15% this morning. And look at that volume, this incredible volume. The Ring Gold Miners ETF is up slightly. It's quite a nasty sell-off here. Round Ball Metaverse Exchange Traded Fund to track the performance of the Metaverse is up 1%. And Rivian Automotive continues its charge. That's quite a move. Another gap up this morning. Look at this volume. That is just nothing but huge volume, up 13.7%. Opera, Norwegian software company, continues to roar higher. It is using AI in its web browsers. It's got nothing but huge volume up here. Kura Sushi. The sushi brand is bouncing back. And let's take a look at our IPO Kava. Had a big sell-off here. We'll see if it can break out, but it continues up today. And that's our look at the market. This has been Mornings with Michael for informational and educational purposes only. If you have a personal finance question, feel free to reach out. Hope everybody has a great weekend. We have a great show coming up on Saturday, Small Business Leaders tomorrow. Look out for that. And hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy the fruits of your labor, and we'll catch up with you on Monday.